Has anyone else grown even more fond of resting in silence and quiet love? And find it to be rather nourishing as we embark on this awakening. For many of us, our awakening at some phase or stage, we do tend to be led to live a more quiet, isolated life, but healthy isolation. Not to be mistaken for like a recluse or being like agoraphobic. This is no offense towards anyone who is agoraphobic. Much love to you. I'm speaking on just the love of the peace and quiet. Especially when we realize we can no longer relate to so many people around us in our lives. Of course, everyone's assignments are going to be a little bit different. But many of us are going to share enough characteristics in our assignment where we are going to just naturally come together and unfold together. And we'll still be able to enjoy the company of true friends and loved ones as this natural separation occurs. And the whole separation of the wheat and the tares has been going through my mind every single day for at least a week now, without exaggeration. And we may even feel a need to connect on a deeper level with those who have mutual interests, mutual goals, as we move away from the superficial it's normal and natural, whatever normal even is, to experience some emotional highs and lows. Because we're becoming more sensitive, especially to our surroundings. And lately I've been getting more frequent headaches and feeling more tired, like I need more rest and more downtime. So I've been taking more days off. Just know that it's all part of the process, beloveds, and it will pass. These awakening experiences are leading us to not only increase self-awareness, but also guiding us on our soul's purpose. So we're going to go into the Angel Tarot and we're going to speak a bit more on our awakenings, particularly mutual experiences and interests. In compliance with the awakening process, we're going to go into the major arcana first for a signifier, where we are in our stages of awakening is not necessarily relevant. The mutual interests, however, are extremely relevant. So let's touch a bit more first on that after we get a signifier. What is our primary energy of the collective in terms of mutual energy as we embark on our awakenings? One card, please, and thank you. Interestingly enough, out comes the ego card. And there it is, separating the wheat from the tares again. Extreme significance in terms of the ego. Well, letting go of the ego or that sense of self in order to allow a higher version of ourselves to rise. Letting go of any beliefs, behaviors, or otherwise ways of being that either never resonated or no longer resonate. Any illusions about our identity. And better discernment in terms of the material realms. Our ego is like a hodgepodge of programming, as well as behavioral patterns that we acquire from the time that we make landfall. Our awakening is our return to our higher selves, our OG spirit. Realizing that our ego does not have to be the enemy of our higher selves, but rather, we'll just say it's a younger sibling, so to speak, of our higher selves. And some existence of the ego is actually necessary. And each of us have different reasons why our awakening was triggered. And we're being guided by this angel to avoid harsh judgments against ourselves during this process, as these judgments will only pull us away from the truth of who we are. And it's not always some kind of tragic event that initiates and ignites these awakenings. It could be, you could have a pleasant encounter at a yoga class or at a paint party, or even in your sacred space, your sanctuary during meditation. More often than not, though, it's some kind of major transformative experience that occurs and initiates. Sometimes the ego wants to sabotage our progress. Sometimes even our ego gets in the way of us realizing that going through an awakening and this ego death is much harder than expected. And this is where we're being guided to get a handle on our expectations as well. We're being guided to be more of a free spirit. And more often than not, as we go through this awakening, we find it harder to take traditional jobs, anything that supports a profit-driven matrix. Moving out of a poverty mindset. And separating ourselves from those who are committed to destroying our planet, as we refuse to contribute to that. Our conscience is becoming more clear. So material relationships are not something that we're really hungry for. But making a positive contribution from wherever we are at any given time is very much so a part of the agenda. We have God in our hearts. We have that Christ light. And we aim to live morally correct. From the time this awakening is initiated. Doing good deeds, like committing acts of service to those in need, even if it's just like the need for a hug that day, or a smile, a compliment, a clean compliment. It's an outer expression. With a hint of divinity in terms of how Source truly works through us, beloveds. It's making me choke up a little bit. So let's grab the rest of the deck and do a little bit more digging in terms of this ego card. What more is it that we need to know about this ego card? from the Minor Arcana and the Pips. Let's go. With this Four of Water, I'm getting that as we embark on this spiritual awakening, it is opening up our eyes to more of the possibilities for growth. See, we're rising above the material. We're rising above it. I'm feeling guided to look a little bit deeper into this card. Ooh. I'm actually seeing sharks. Oh, and I see what looks like a blue whale in the background. So let's look into the spirit animal totem for the shark. The shark totem. Ooh, I like it. The shark helps us leave fear behind and always fight for what we want. It shows us how to be firm and determined in our ideas and our actions. Symbolizing strength, adaptability, embracing the unknown. They offer guidance and reflection on personal growth and life changes. Wow. Powerful omens emphasizing awareness and balance. So balancing the ego. Interesting. I'm also feeling guided to look up the deeper role of Archangel Jophiel in just a moment. I've never really felt guided to do that as far as I can remember anyways. But first, let's touch a bit more on the characteristics of the animal spirit totem of the shark. They inspire fear in men and women, but yet this great fish has many qualities. Its message is strong and unique. It represents mystery and intelligence in their own way. Sharks are also animals that teach us to take action. So the shark spirit animal is endowed with many aptitudes, such as determination, speed, spontaneity, directness, power, a fighting spirit. Fighting the good fight, though. They are also said to have a sixth sense, detecting also electromagnetic fields thanks to some of their sensory organs, helping them to locate their prey, but more than anything, their sixth sense is why this totem represents intelligence and instinct. The energy of this spirit animal takes over our lives when we are hesitant. It pushes us to take action and bring our intentions to life. The shark also supports us in saying what needs to be said and doing what needs to be done. And beloveds, believe me, I know how it feels when you really start taking that awakening seriously and you want to isolate. You want to be less social, because we realize that when we're socializing, we are picking up on other people's energy. Sometimes inadvertently allowing it to live rent-free. There's no more of that. At one or two stages at least in your awakening, you will find yourself becoming more aware of those who only come around when they want something from you, or only make themselves known when they want to instigate, run their mouths, try to trigger you, try to get your goat. But with this animal totem, we have been more perceptive. We're becoming more cool-headed. Taking back authority over our own lives. As authority, superiority, and power are also meanings associated with the shark. We will, at our own pace, when we're meant to, wherever we are, whatever stages we're at in our awakening, and it's going to be different for all of us, even with the mutual interests that bring us together, that can only make us more powerful because we learn to stop at nothing. We leave our fear behind and continue to fight for what is meant for us. To be firm and determined in our ideas and our actions. We will come out a real winner. And the Most High says we deserve this victory. We are the one who has control and decision-making power over our lives. We're getting back in the driver's seat. Or otherwise, we only ride shotgun when Source takes the wheel. Let's look into Jophiel. Their name means beauty of God. also known as Jophiel, Yaphiel, Laphiel, and Zophiel. The archangel associated with wisdom, art, and beauty. Jophiel is often depicted as the angel who guarded the Garden of Eden and is also the archangel of creativity and fresh ideas. Jophiel is said to bring calm and clear chaos in people's lives. And some people believe that we can call on her to guide our thoughts back to love and manifest beauty in our lives. Jophiel is also the patron of artists. And is venerated in Judaism and Anglicanism. It can also mean God is my watchman. Or Zeriel, which means God is my rock. So in comes Japhi to guide us as we clear away the chaos and bring calm into our lives and radiate more of that. We can call upon her to manifest beauty into our life and guide our thoughts back to love. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Page of Fire. Outgoing, creative, confident, and even a bit mischievous. But we're not on that. Nope, we are not on that time. Yes. This card is a call to action. To utilize our originality and really step fully into our authenticity. We're being guided to firmly and sincerely believe in our own ingenuity and authenticity. Exciting news coming in for us, beloveds. And with that, an exciting new opportunity that we're being guided to embrace. Even if it seems like a bit of a challenge in the beginning. It's one we're ready for. To step out and shine our light and work our light. And we are protected. With the phoenix inside of this bubble that resembles an egg, this is giving me like we are about to become born again in a beautiful way. As more of our creative sparks all around us. It's as though we dazzle others with like-mindedness and mutual interests without even trying. It just happens organically. And I don't mean that in a manipulative way. We're not out here rubbing elbows with a Jezebel spirit. Not one iota. That spirit, as well as the Judases, have been permanently expelled. As we become more passionate about this awakening, about our missions and our assignments, we have a new assignment coming in for us where we're actually being encouraged to shine more. No more exploiters and manipulators coming along to steal what's rightfully ours. They will be in for a shock, as they can't even touch this without getting burned. But here we are over here working our light and becoming born again to rise like the phoenix. Wow. Right behind that at the bottom, we have the King of Earth, the Midas touch. Confidently accept these new endeavors, these new assignments. As we will be the best there is at these endeavors and assignments. And I'm also hearing leaders creating more leaders again. Leaving every space that we encounter in even better condition, with even better experiences. Than when we entered. The synergy of success. That's right. You heard it correctly. The synergy of success. Not only are we going to get back what was taken from us, there will be more. And by more, I mean enough to give to those who are grateful and to those who are in need. Right behind that, the Three of Fire, abundance, things looking very good for us. So much so that when we come together for our next mutual interest assignment, we're being encouraged to even make more long-term plans pertaining to it, as it is all part of our awakening. And even though we are at different stages and phases of our awakening, we can go through it and get through it together and grow together. It's as though they are patiently waiting for the choppy waters to become still again. And I'm hearing that there is actually a constructive purpose behind all this chaos. It's as though we're being guided to take a breather. Of course, more is coming in for us. But it's a time to revisit decisions already made, what has worked for us, what hasn't worked for us, and what to continue to utilize in order to promote our creativity. As we're being guided to utilize it even more and even more confidently in doing so. This is a time where you can safely celebrate some areas where you feel as though you are about to graduate. We're being guided to not be discouraged by the choppy waters. Because whatever negotiations that we make with others from here on out are going to work out smoothly for everyone involved. As we embrace this awakening, we are also embracing the probability that we are going to have encounters with like-minded more and more and more as we go and as we grow. We have to be drawn by the possibility of something vastly different than the approaches that we were taking before that were not working. It very well could have been an attitude adjustment that needed to occur that day when something wasn't working. Because as we embrace this awakening, we are also embracing this newfound hunger for truth. Our soul knows there's something much bigger and much better than what we have been dealing with up to these points. The soul knows because it's already been there. It's not the soul's first rodeo. It's not their first dive into the fishbowl. It's not their first go around with the crabs in the bucket. I've been hearing that one a lot more often lately. I didn't hear that one for a long time until recently. We are not crabs in a bucket. The soul made it out. It knows the way. Our soul is also where these memories kind of hang out and hide out. And we are no longer settling for watered down versions of ourselves. You can't dilute us. Meaning, any opportunity for an opposer to try to dilute us is going to be ineffective. Hence the choppy waters trying to dilute us. But we're being guided to remain in our safe space. Not necessarily literally and physically, but know our surroundings for sure. But also understand that even with these challenges comes great rewards, beloveds. The old ways of doing things just don't cut it anymore. Because again, our soul knows we are ready for something so much bigger, possibly even bigger than our imaginations at this time. Hence that bit of lagging with the creativity, because it's like, wow, like I've already tried all of my creative hats on. Make it make sense, Source. This is also a time during any pauses to sincerely apologize to ourselves for how long we made our soul wait before we could get serious about this journey. We're now listening. We're answering the call of our soul. And although we're being called to also carve our own path through uncharted land and waters, we may not be able to see that glorious gate opening for us just yet. Just know. Not just believe, but know it has opened for us. As we continue to get a handle on our expectations, as our ego enjoyed its nice long reign over our decisions and actions, it had an agenda that it was mostly at odds with our soul. Notice I said mostly, but not completely. As our soul wants us to be in divine union with Source and our A-team, because in that union, we are fulfilling our divine purpose. That connection must be in place. It knows the soul, and then everything else is going to flow. We will have the most fulfilling, God-ordained and anointed life, as deemed best for us and the collective. Source is arming and preparing us, armoring up. The ego isn't going away, it's just retiring. Right along with the wrong attitudes, misconceptions, misinterpretations. We've all been guilty of it. I've seen some of my own readings play out in the actions of the people I give the utmost respect, and then it comes as a shocker because of where it's occurring. Like, no, not them, please, not them. It's also made me a heck of a lot more mindful of the spoken word. It's wise to think of the ego as that part of us that makes sure we manage the very basic physical needs. Beyond that, we have bigger fish to fry. Better faculties within us to govern our path and our decisions. Paths and parts of us becoming more actively developed. We're building. The ego doesn't have the capacity to access love. That divine energy and being that created us and which knows that we need to be in union with Source and our A-team. For that ideal, more fulfilling, higher state of being. The ego has played its role and outplayed its role. Now, our Sacred Heart gets to take over. Wow. No need for advice. It's been coming out all through these messages, but I'm feeling guided to do a card for most likely outcome, but also returning the major arcana to the rest of the deck in case any more of that big energy needs to come out as part of our most likely outcome. I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen, but it feels better to include the entire deck for the most likely outcome. So here we go. Out comes the High Priestess. Yes, the most powerful divine feminine energy in the deck. In your face. We're gonna play in your face. In your face. Further confirming and guiding us to continue to have patience. Being more considerate of our thoughts, our spoken word, as well as our actions. Being more guided by our A-team, Our intuitions, as that is how the angels speak to us, is through our intuitions. Haniel, beloved, welcome to the round table along with Jophiel, the goddess-like angel of grace and feminine spirituality. Our speaker. Some of us are being guided to become public speakers. Or I wouldn't have made that error with my wording. This spiritual teacher and advisor will aid us in discerning what nudges to follow. And Haniel will also increase our connection with the angels of the highest white light. No need to race, beloveds. As we take our time, as steady winds, we gain more insight. During our spiritual awakenings, we feel more and more that need to withdraw from the noise pollution. We're also being guided to only share our goals with someone after being more well acquainted with them, but also have them already in place so that they can't just come along and swoop it up and try to one-up us. Patience and silence are golden. Thank you so very much for tuning in. As our most likely outcome, continue to focus on getting closer to Source, our angels, and integrate what we have learned from the situations we have observed and reviewed and reevaluated. And everything that we need to know will come to us. Patience and silence are golden. I hope these messages find you well, beloveds, and thank you so very much for tuning in. With much gratitude and appreciation, to you I offer brightest blessings.